What's up, my nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. On this channel, I like to talk about bookish-related things and genres of science fiction, fantasy, short stories, non-fiction, horror, manga. If this is what you read, then you have found your home. Subscribe and click that like button, 'cause it helps me too. Oh, I'm so not right. So in today's episode of fun, I was recently tagged by Andy Smith to do the DNF tag. I will have Andy's channel and a link to his DNF video in the description box down below. The original creator wasn't listed in his description box, so I will do my best to find out who created it and include that information down below for you as well. So let's get into these questions, shall we? Question number 1, do you DNF? Absolutely, but it is a very rare occurrence. I'm just one of those people that I can almost always find something in a book that I love and will attach to and stay invested to reach the end. There's also been times that I have put a book down, but I don't truly count that as a DNF because I came back at a later date and read it and loved it. Sometimes I'm just not in a mood for a particular type of story when I'll pick it up. So those I don't count. A DNF to me means you are putting that sucker down with no intention of ever picking it up again. The only two I can think of right off the top of my head that I've done that to is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens and The Elfstones of Shannara by Terry Brooks. And I did try multiple times to read The Elfstones of Shannara. I tried the physical, I tried the audiobook. None of those worked. I'm just not interested in the story, and I accept that, and I'm not going to try anymore. Question number 2. Does that DNF count towards books read for the month? Absolutely not. I did not read the entirety of the book, therefore I am not going to rate and leave a review for a book that I did not actually read in its entirety. It is my personal opinion. It's not fair to rate and review a book on something you didn't finish. Who knows? Maybe if I had read 10 more pages, everything would have changed and I would have loved it. I've had that happen before. The 10,000 Doors of January, it took me 130 pages before that one swept me off my feet, and then I was absolutely in love. And because I know how that story developed and what happens, when I reread it, I bet I will absolutely enjoy every minute of those first 130 pages. So no, for me personally, I'm not gonna do that. Question number 3. Is there a difference between DNF and just putting it down for a bit? So I actually already answered question number 3 when I answered the first question, so we'll just move on to the next one. Question number 4. What popular book have you DNF? Apparently, the Shannara Chronicles by Terry Brooks was really popular. I did read the first book in the series. I didn't like it, and I had a lot of people try and change my mind about it or change my opinion about it. So apparently that one's pretty popular because it was one of my very first videos on the channel, and it's still getting comments to this day. Question number 5. What book do you wish you had DNF'd? I guess that would be The Sword of Shannara. I kept thinking that book was going to get better and I was going to be blown away by it. Judging from all the recommendations I had from friends to read it, and it just never happened. I was so bored. It took me over a month to read that book. I mean, and it was just time wasted by the time I finished it, and still couldn't stand the book. Question number 6. Do you choose more risky titles because of your stance on DNF? That's not something I consider at all when choosing a book. With the amount of Booktube that I watch, reviews that I read, and my bookseller Lizzie, I just have so many trusted sources. I know who the people are that I have like taste with. So if they're raving over a book, I mean, it's almost a certainty that I will love it also. So I do choose books that I think that I will love. But again, I think I'm just really easy to please with books, so it's not hard. And the final prompt was to tag 5 Booktube buddies. I'm going to tag my Booktube bestie, Andrew from Get Right On In. If you have not been following his channel, you definitely should be. We discovered one another right before NaNoWriMo started, so I got to follow his journey as he wrote his book for the month. He has written several books, but this one I got to read as he wrote. He did a blog, and every day he would put the chapter that he wrote on that blog so you could read it as he wrote it. Plus, he also recorded prompts every day to put up to encourage other writers that were participating in NaNoWriMo. So give Andrew a watch. He is so entertaining. I just absolutely love him to pieces. So Andrew, you're tagged. I'm also going to tag Victoria from A Musical Bookworm. I don't know that she's ever mentioned DNFing a book, but I'm curious to know if she has, or what would it take for her to DNF a book. So Victoria, you're tagged. Next up, I am going to tag Angela from Literature Science Alliance. Again, I don't think I've heard her mention much about DNFing books, although I'm pretty sure I know which one she's going to say that she wished she had DNF'd. But again, curious to hear her thoughts about it and what would make her DNF a book. Finally, I want to tag Vish with Books with V and Abby from Abby Salter. Pretty sure I've heard Abby mention in one of her videos about some books that she DNF'd, but Vish, I don't recall seeing her do any. Curious to see their stances on DNFs, what they may have DNF'd, or if maybe they don't DNF. I just need to know the answers to these questions from these people. So you're all tagged. All of the ones that I've tagged, I'm gonna have their channels linked in the description box down below. So if you're like me and you're curious about their answers to this tag, you can keep an eye out for that, and hopefully we will get those soon. So guys, I hope you learned something new today about what this girl does when it comes to DNFing a book. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.